Hello, family. I wasn't going to do a video today, um, but there, been sitting and wondering what I'm going to do to go forward with my channel and how I'm going to reach people and what content I'm going to do. And um, that's been going back and forth in my mind while I've been recuperating. The doctor had to change my medicine already, so that. Uh, that's going on. So, but anyway, there's some things that are bothering me today, as far as the world and how it's going and stuff, and how can we move forward uh, with what's coming. I know a lot of you don't watch what's going on in different scenarios and stuff like that, but I just heard in the last hour. Uh, I'm sitting here watching television, YouTube, and the news, and so forth. And I'm quite concerned. I am very quite concerned. Have anybody out there ever watched Mad Max? Um, got Mel Gibson in it and a few other prominent actors and stuff. And people are homeless all over the place. They've got the groups all over in that particular area, and I can't remember where that area was. It's basically all over the world, except I'm thinking that there are wealthy someplace, but I can't offhand remember exactly where that was. But all the lower class people had their little groups and living their lives the best way they knew how. And if they had to steal off of others, if they had to kill others, whatever they had to do to survive. And I think there's three movies in that whole series of Mad Max. And I'm afraid that might be just what's going to come on as a Mad Max scenario. You know, there's a lot of homeless people out there. I mean, homeless people that are living on the streets in tents, sleeping in doorways, um, the whatever and however that they can do to live. And of course, a lot of them people out there on drugs. But there's a lot of people not on drugs that are homeless. There's people living in campers. There's people living in vans. There's people living in their cars and going and working. They living out there because they don't have a home to live in. And the ones that are living in vans and RVs, a lot of them have chose to do that because they don't want to pay the high prices of the rent and stuff like that. Uh, and they chose that. There's people that they build the tiny homes, um, but they're stationary someplace. There's the pull around campers that they've turned into tiny homes that they're living wherever they can live with that. And and then there's people living in a van, which they're choosing to do this, but they're still considered homeless. Now, even though there's a lot of them that have a home base address, that they use the address from whatever particular city, or a family member lets them use their address, or whatever. And the reason why, I don't know. I just watched something that has really torn my heart up. on top of me already not feeling good. Me trying to figure out what to do with my life at 81. How do I make my life more interesting for myself? How do I take my 81 years of life and my wisdom and things that I've learned through the years and apply it to my life and and have a good life? Now, my life in the past has not always been a good life. It's always been ups and downs, and I've been homeless a few times, lived in the desert, um, lived in the car with kids and cats and dogs, and a drunk husband, uh, all kinds of things like that. Was announced, well, not announced, diagnosed with major depression in 91. And I've had to fight my way through for years with the depression. So here I am now at 81, lost a lot of abilities, do I want to say? Right now, at this point in time, anyway. Abilities as far as being able to get up and move around like I'd want to, and working on that with my legs and stuff. And so I started a YouTube channel. Now I get a little bit of money a month that helps with what I get. I don't get no assistance from my Social Security. At 65, they took me off of disability and put me on regular Social Security, widow survivor. So I get my income, which is not all that much, and I get my uh, husband's income when he was alive. And so that's basically what I live on. So I make a few bucks now on YouTube. Sometimes it's never gotten up to $300 a month, but I'm trying to find a way to live my life where I'm content, I'm happy, and I've got something to do with my life, and not only helping myself, but helping other people. Well, the last few days, last week or so, well, it's been more than a week. I've not been well, and ended up going, which I kind of figured that's what the issue was, because I was trying to drink cranberry juice and enough water and doing all that over the counter stuff. But I finally decided it's time to go to the doctors. Went to the doctors. UTI, gave me the medicine. Wrong medicine for the UTI I had, so they had to give me new medicine. So going through that. So I'm not feeling the hottest in the world. Um, but and I wasn't gonna do a video. And while I've been sitting here just watching some TV and fiddling around, I've been thinking about what I'm going to do with my channel and the different things I want to talk about and things, and writing some stuff down and different things like that. How I can help y'all out there, plus help YouTube pay me more than what I'm getting. And to supplement what I get, which I get plenty of money to make it. I live in a camper. I live on my daughter's property. I pay them for electric and the ability to sit in my camper here. And they're right here to help me anytime I feel I need help. And plus, I get the wonderfulness of having to get to talk to my family. my daughter and son-in-law, my grandkids, and my great grandkids and stuff like that. Get to watch the chickens in the yard. Uh, get the fun of having a little bit of a vegetable garden, fruit garden. Really, is what I got. And but while I've been sitting here trying to recoup and trying to uh, get past what I went through the night and the morning with this UTI, trying to focus, trying to put myself through, uh, eliminating some things out there that I don't need, getting rid of, really truly getting rid of TikTok, getting rid of Facebook. There's just there's too much craziness going on in that I don't need to deal with. I want to focus on my channel, and but something's come up, and I know I talked to some of y'all about a little bit about this a while back, when they made a law, and if I'm not mistaken, it was no, I think it was while Biden was still in office, but I could be wrong. They passed a law that it's against the law to be homeless. Well, they always did have a vagrancy law that you had to have at least $7 on you if you're going to be out and bumming around, so to speak, from a lack of a more authentic word to use. But they finally made it against the law to be homeless. And that was a while back, and I do believe that I did talk about this on here. And one of my people that I subscribe to, she lives in a van, and I felt like maybe she took offense to what I had said about. I'm sorry, they consider you homeless, whether you're in a van or what. They consider you homeless, and if you and whoever don't follow those those guidelines, it's hard to say what they can do. Well, of course, everything takes a process, and it depends on what state you're in, depends on what police officers are going to stop you, and all of that depends on who it is and how it's all going to go. And but it just really, I've been watching this thing with the illegals that they've been transporting to Florida Keys, and that what do you call it? It's they called it Alcatraz, but it's intense where they're putting the immigrants and stuff in deep in the swamp that is supposedly surrounded with alligators and stuff until they can either find another country to send them to or whatever. So that's basically what we're being told anyway. I don't know all the ins and outs about it, so don't anybody come in here and start hollering at me because I'm just basing on the what what they're doing. Camp Alcatraz, whatever you want to call it, and but um, something new has come up, and I knew this was coming. I knew this was coming. Because, just take the words "Make America Great Again," and that's what that campaign was all about. The new president, when he's campaigning, let's make America great again. Well, I can't remember when America was ever great for the poor and the needy. We still had to take handouts. Um, we still had to go out and work our butts off uh, to have a roof over our heads, stuff like that. But uh, there wasn't as much crime back then when I was growing up. But there was crime in my family. I grew up, I mean, before I was born, there was crime in my family. People shooting people in the heads. My grandma died with a bullet in her head. So, make America great again. Well, the only thing that I can think of that they're thinking about now, from what I can see, they're having all these struggles about uh, the immigrants being here. They don't want the immigrants here, and of course the courts are standing up in part for the ones that have been here. But anyway, now with when Biden let all the immigrants in, which there'd been people coming in anyway, and all the cartel and everything, and all the crime and everything. But so what does uh, the Republicans, the new administration, call "Make America Great Again"? Well, there has been immigrants on this land. We were immigrants. I'm part German. Some of my ancestors lived here. Um, English people. So I'm a mixture, and there's so many of you out there that are mixtures. But I'm if you remember way back in the days of the Ku Klux Klans, they just wanted white people here. It didn't matter what nationality you were, just as long as your skin was white. And I hope that that's not where they're going in this direction again. I hope to God not. But I'm too afraid for the executive order that Trump just signed and passed. And but it's getting the homeless off the street. Bottom line, I don't know all the full details other than he says that he's leaving it up to each individual state and how they want to handle it. How do they want to uh, handle the homeless, and what do they call homeless? Well, they've already declared it a while back. Homeless is when you don't have a residence that you're living at. If you're in your car, if you're in a tent, if you're in an RV, if you're in a pickup truck, uh, what if you're in a home on wheels, a van that's been built into a little home? To them, that's homeless. So if they catch you out there sleeping someplace, I mean, they can, use their rules and their regulations that you're homeless, and then what are they going to do? Well, the executive order was to start placing homeless people into institutions, mental institutions. Of course, there's a lot of people out there on drugs. Don't get me wrong, which they 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 should have a place to go and get treated, but they're not going to do it on their own because they won't get the drugs. So that they're not going to. So there's a few of them that'll say, "Well, let me go in for treatment," and blah 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 blah. But what's going to happen here? There's going to be people that aren't on drugs, that they're homeless, they're living on the streets in their car, in their vans, in their RVs, and they're going to start gathering them up and wanting to put them in some kind of rehab, if you will. Well, first of all, there's not enough rehabs out there And these rehabs ain't going to take them if these people don't have insurance to pay for it. So how's that going to work? I'm concerned, folks. I'm really concerned because there's thousands of people out there that are homeless. Thousands of them that are drugged up on drugs. The fentanyl. They're like zombies hanging around everywhere. Now them ones would be easy to gather up and put in a van and take them someplace. But what about the ones that's going to stand up and fight? So, folks, all you people out there that are living in vans, that are living in cars, that are living in your RVs, watch for the change because he just signed that executive order that the homeless people can be put in, depending on what state it is and how they're going to run it. They're going to start gathering people up, folks, just like they gathered up the illegals. Just letting you know that. That worries me. Just thinking about it is giving me a headache. So, are we going to have another Mad Max episode on our hands, like the movie? Are we going to have that? Are people going to, once they start seeing it, they're going to start gathering them up? Are they going to stand up and fight back? I mean, most of them people out there that are homeless in the United States are white. What are they going to do? I don't know. All I know is it's not looking good. From what I've heard and what I've read, I listened to him today talk about that he signed that executive order, but in retrospect, he said he's going to leave it up to each individual state on how they handle it. Well, right now, just what I'm seeing, my daughter works as a case manager in mental health just in this little area, and the homeless people and the hoops they got to jump through to get help with a place to live. And these programs will only pay so much, and then that individual has to come up with the rest. Sort of like Section 8 HUD, something like that. And here's the thing. These these not my daughter um, specifically, but the her bosses and stuff can look at a person and decide whether or not they want to help a little bit more or a little bit less or whatever, depending on the whole scenario, the background checks and all that kind of stuff that these people have to go through in order to have a roof over their head because they messed up somewhere along the line way back when or whatever, because they got certain not what would look like it wouldn't look like uh, you wouldn't be able to tell directly unless you sit and talk to a person for quite some time whether or not they had mental issues. So here we go, folks. Here we go. And I've got a headache just thinking about it. My stomach's upset about it. And I are they going to come after us people next that are living in campers on our home land? I mean, I'm not too concerned about that at this point in time. What I'm concerned about is all of them people that they're going to start gathering up and putting them someplace. And we all know that there's not enough mental hospitals out there because that's what they're classifying them as mental patients. So folks, we think times are crazy right now. We think that people are going. I mean, people are going out there and shooting other people up, and I just heard about I don't know how many more stuff going on, and I know a lot of them people though that are on fentanyl they can't even stand. So I don't even know how that's going to work. But then there's plenty other out there that aren't on fentanyl, and they start rustling them up like cattle because that's what it's going to be. I mean, you ever watch on uh, different news reels and stuff like that, the homeless camps that are in just in Los Angeles, just in California itself. There's homeless encampments all over the world. So let's make America great again. Well, what? Get rid of the riffraff? Is that how you make America great again? I don't think they're riffraff. They're people that lost their way, people that lost their homes and don't know how else to survive on the streets. So you tell me. Just saying, watch out, folks. All you people out there that are living in your campers, living in your cars, living in your vans, beware, be careful. And I'm sitting right here, right now, with such a headache, trying to say, a merry heart doeth good like medicine, but a broken spirit will dry up your bones. Don't let your spirit be broken. I'm trying really hard right now. And there's thousands of people out there that are homeless that believe that there's a great creator. They believe that there's a God that's going to be there for them. And look where they're at. There's there's something ain't right there somewhere. And all you people, put your head on a swivel. Don't 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 be naive. Be alert. Be aware. Know the laws and the rules. Have some kind of money in your pocket at all times. Well, the going rate is $7. That law is still on the books. But if you believe you can or if you believe you can't, you're right either way. And right now, I'm having a hard time dealing with that executive order. Now, I'm sure there's many loopholes in there that gives the authorities little things to work with to get the job done. Because I know how them loopholes work. I went to criminal justice in college, Kent State, so I know how those little loopholes all work. I know how the authorities are allowed to look for those loopholes and stuff. So when they decide that they want to do something with somebody, especially people that don't have the money to go to court and fight back, or don't have the resources, or don't have the intellect, but even though they don't have the intellect, they have the willingness to fight back. somehow, some way. But here I am. That's really bothering me. My head hurts so bad. And at this point in time, I don't know what to do about it other than this video. So, Lindy, on, I forget, LAVA, uh, and you're living in your van, beware. Uh, and I know you got family you can go to if you have to, but I'm just asking you to beware. Look out your peripheral vision. Be always aware. Take care of y'all. I love y'all, and I gotta do something about this headache. What I don't know. I'm not feeling good at all, but I wasn't gonna do a video, but I had to do this one. So I love y'all. Have a good evening. Talk to you another time.